closing time, the bar is almost empty.
Well, hello everybody out there who's been watching along, and for any of you who are new here, welcome back to another exciting episode of when are we going to get this friggin' building done so I can get building other stuff. That's a good question, but we have a beautiful day here today. It doesn't happen too often. Hopefully we're going to beat the traffic here because it is rush hour on my road right now this time of day. All 20 cars that seem to go by within the span of 60 seconds. Oh, here comes another one. Is it going to be another obnoxious kid with the mufflers cut off his truck? You know what a pain in the ass this one's going to be to edit the traffic noise out? This is going to be fun. But anyway, tonight I'm going to give you the reasons why we debark the logs, and it's going to become real evident real fast. Now this is one of the logs that was dragged through that sandy cornfield. Now it looks pretty clean, the bark does, but you look in the crevices, it's full of sand and dirt and stuff like that. So we're going to wait for some more vehicles. Trying to remain composed here so I can talk. Maybe they're done for a minute, maybe not. But anyway, this bark may look fairly clean to you on the camera, but I can assure you it is dirty. There's these little crevices in the bark. There is plenty of stuff packed in there. I've got a fresh blade on the sawmill. It's one of the ones that we sharpened, which, by the way, check out Crass Family Farm. We have a video up, him and I, little collaboration there. I took all my band blades down to him. He sharpened them up for me. We finally got to cut something with him Saturday, I guess it was. And I tell you what, it cut beautifully. Good job, Mr. Crass. Thank you very much. So anyway, so I'm going to sacrifice a blade for you guys so you guys can see. We're going to get going. We'll do this up. We'll see what happens. I'm going to lay this log out. You guys saw it in the last video how I do that. I do want to make I kind of want to make an amendment to what I said the last time we were out here on the sawmill. One of our viewers, Timber Doodles, which he is a really talented timber framer. He has some videos out there, and he is going to be participating in this so-called massive collaboration we're working on, trying to get a bunch of smaller channels together. So if you didn't catch that video, I will put a link somewhere up here. You guys will see it pop up on your screen. But he got on there and he told me, and he was right, and I think maybe I came across probably a little arrogant and a little cocky about it, which I try to never do, because there's always going to be somebody has a better way than what you or I are doing, that works really well for them. And sometimes I forget that when I'm doing these videos. Sometimes you don't want to come across as an obnoxious know-it-all, and I think, like I said, I attempt not to, but I think sometimes I do, and that's just, you're going to have that. But he likes to put his logs with the butt end towards the operator, and he had a good reason, a good point for doing that. It's not the method I prefer, but he had a good point. It was in the comments on the last video. He does that so if the throat of the mill's not going to clear it, he can catch it down on this end and trim it off with a chainsaw. That way he doesn't have to mess with it and the mill's stuck in a cut down that end, try to back it off through the kerf, which can be a pain. So there's always a different way of doing it. So you do it whatever way works for you, but that was his reasoning for it, and that's pretty logical reasoning. That's based on what he runs into in his milling situations. I'm going based on what I run into on my milling situations. And I have before had to back the mill through a kerf, and that is a pain, so I can trim a butt end down on the other end. Now, before the log goes on the mill, I make sure that I have that butt end trimmed down if it's going to be too big. But that was a good point he made, and I just kind of wanted to acknowledge that because he's very good at what he does, and I will take, if he has words for me, I will take them.
closing time, the bar is almost empty. It's me, the bartender, and the piano man. The last call for alcohol has come and gone. Hey buddy, time to go home. Sounds like a messed up plan. It's just the thought of you that's more than I can take. I guess I'm heart's what I made to break. Outside the night is warm and quiet. I hear the neon signs and the street lights buzz. The lovers, the one night stands, and the ones who buy it have all put to rest. One more day's fuss. For me, the thought of you is more than I can take. It's how I feel for you. Love, I just can't
All right, so that's with one log right there. I don't know if you can tell right there. You see how it's kind of a different color around it where the blade went through it? That dove in just a little bit right there. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And I get that a lot if I don't debark and clean these logs up. Now, you're going to get that even on clean logs, but I can get 4 or 5 logs this size milled on one blade before I get any of that. That actually didn't do too bad, but you could tell by the last cut, or at least I could tell on the operator end of it. It's really hard to translate it through the camera, but the mill was pushing quite a bit harder by the time I got that last cut out of it. When you get good clean logs, like I said, I can get 4 or 5 out of them, and I don't notice all that, for quite a while. So it's really, it makes the job easier. I know it takes a little bit longer to debark them and all that, but unless you have a way to get your blade sharpened cheap, or you got a bunch of blades and you just don't care, you got to weigh it's benefit versus convenience, I guess. I mean, it is a pain to debark the logs, and I know I debark most of the logs. A lot of you say I'll just cut a strip. Well, the thing is, I'm cutting so much out of these things. By the time I get down to my timber, it's easier for me just to debark the majority of the log. All right, there we have it. That is our very last top plate, and all milled up, ready to cut joints in. That's probably going to be the subject of the next video, weather dependent, just like everything else we have going on around here. But I'd like to remind everybody watching this, and for anybody new who happens to stumble upon this video, right now we're working on putting together a big collaboration between as many small woodworking, homesteading, blacksmithing, DIY, repair, I make channels that we can get together and start giving each other shout outs and trying to help everybody grow their audience. Now, it's going to be slow growth. I'm not going to lie to you, it's the way it is, unless you have tens of thousands of viewers, it's kind of hard to grow things quickly, but it's a patience game. So if any of you are starting out and you were affected by the new rules of YouTube with the demonetization and all that, be patient, stick with it. I've been watching some smaller channels, that are right on the verge of 1,000, and they're putting out really good stuff. But there again, it is very hard to get that stuff out there. The woodworking, the blacksmithing, the homesteading, the timber framing, the repair, the DIY, whatever you have. I'm not looking for travel channels or dance channels or anything like that, and I don't mean to be rude, but I've had a couple of those requests the last couple of days, and I apologize, but it's more, I want to push the trades. The name of this channel is the Tradesman Channel, and there's a reason for that. The trades are dying off, and I hate to see it. It's not that they're dying off, they just don't have the people to do them. So if you're into something and you can share and you can teach somebody else how to do it, how to make it, that can make all the difference. If you could pique the interest of a younger person, before they hit adulthood, that is excellent. That is just totally excellent, and that's what we need right now. We need it more than ever. I know with what I do for work, the commercial and industrial HVAC, trying to find young guys who are decent or even want to do what I do, it's very hard. I mean, we've got a good crop of young kids right now, but it took years to get them. So, and I know some of them watch these channels too, and you guys are doing really well. You guys are doing really well what you're doing. So that's what it's about. We just want to start pushing these out there. And for my regular viewers who are going to be checking out that playlist, because I know some of you will, go easy on these guys. A lot of them are pretty new at it, and it takes a little while to get used to the camera. It takes a little while to refine your editing and things like that. I'm still not there, and I've got over 200 videos out. It's a lot easier to talk now to the camera, and it's a lot easier to find camera shots and all that. But basically what we're about is we're trying to grow as many of these little guys as we can, myself included, and anybody else. I'm looking for channels with under 25, 30,000 subscribers who are looking to kind of make a jump a little bit and get themselves out there more. And the reason I've got the cutoff point there, I've noticed, paying attention to channels, because I kind of study up on this stuff a lot, is I notice that once they hit that 20, 30,000 mark, things start going a little bit quicker for them, because they're placing better in search engines or the YouTube algorithms. And I'd like to make this community kind of do the same thing. And the reason I include the homesteading channels in this is because a lot of them are doing some really cool things. They're not just planting a garden or feeding a goat or something like that. A lot of times they're building something. A lot of them are into timber framing, they're into log building, and it's really good stuff. There's some of them that are putting out some excellent stuff. You know, another channel that I'll mention even before we get to process here, like Forest to Farm, they're in the middle of setting up their own little piece of paradise in the hills. I mean, they're doing a good job. Their editing is phenomenal, but they're having trouble growing because they can't. It's just very hard to compete with the millions of hours of videos that get uploaded daily. So we got to try to help each other out and keep pushing these things out. So I will include a link to the video where I introduce this idea. I'll include an end card to the playlist at the end of this video. And come Friday night when we're doing our live feed, if we're able to do it this week, it should be 9 o'clock Eastern time Friday night. We're going to try to do our live feed. We're going to start doing shout outs. And throughout the course of my videos, I'm going to do shout outs, and I will try to do one dedicated video a week just to shout outs for these smaller channels. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I will catch you on the next one.